Okay, so I am trying to figure out what happened to my wife's Power Stroke on Friday, the other day, on our way back from a wedding. It seems to have lost oil pressure, high pressure oil pressure, which the interwebs claim could be one of several seals in the top end, under the valve cover, on the high pressure side, which that's what drives injection. And so it died if I let it idle low, but if I kept it running high RPMs, it ran fine. So that's apparently a symptom of an O-ring having gone out in there. So I got this test kit from Amazon for cheap overnight. And this little copper guy, brass guy on the end here should screw into the valve cover on the ICP valve, I think. Should screw into there. And then I found various fittings that I pieced together that should allow me to plumb it in to just the shop air. And then you can pressurize the high pressure oil side through this here valve, and then you listen, you trigger the ICP valve, the injection, no, IPR valve, injection pressure valve. I don't know, you can turn that on for a couple seconds at a time. You can just jump it with a wire, but don't do it too much because it'll burn up. So do it for a little bit, listen for hissing. If you hear hissing, you have something leaking, and you can listen around with a stethoscope or like a piece of hose for where it's leaking from. And then you can identify the right O-ring, or if it's leaking in the O-rings at all. So that's my plan. That's what I'm gonna do. We'll see if it works. Fortunately, my brother had done some various work trying to find these fittings that did something else. So happened to have the right things that could piece together to get me what I needed. So that's a win. All right, so the tester goes onto the ICP valve right there. Much easier to access on the truck. All the room. Get it right? Much easier than the bus. All right, got the valve out. Should have been the easy part, but I was struggling to get it out because it was seeming to be a little bit stripped. Anyway, got it out the socket. When I pulled the air pipe out. Now let's see if this thing works. Oh yeah. Sweet. All right, well, I'm gonna Teflon tape that and see what it does. Okay, well, I just realized that this would be too long with my whole long contraption, and then I had the second thought that the spacer that I had extending stuff and getting back and forth and back might actually just fit straight in here, which it does. So I can shorten my whole thing down to just being that and the other part that I can't find right now. So that makes things easier. And there you go. You see the shiny silver guy with the adapter between and the bit in there. So much shorter. I can actually fit a hose in here because otherwise this was all the way basically up against here, so I wouldn't be able to get a pipe in and connect it. This will work better. All right, well, let's see if this does anything. I mean, I need to figure out how to jump this other sensor still, but it's kind of fun. Maybe if I get the right angle. Can I get it? Well, okay, I got it on. It did spray a little oil on there when I had that calf oil on, which hopefully is okay. I don't exactly know, but I'm gonna crank up the pressure a little bit on the tank and see what she does. A bunch of years ago, I did the heads on this truck in my brother's shop, and we got a bunch of stuff. Oh, no, that's the IPR pigtail. I just ordered the ICP pigtail because getting down in there looked like a real pain. I'll show you in a minute. But I have all these gaskets and things, and I was not actually confident which vehicle they're from, because I also did a 6.4 Power Stroke at some point. I did a full rebuild of that, and I was remembering that I didn't replace all of the things because I had all this stuff, and I don't remember if it was partially because I had other kits, or if I just didn't replace everything, like the high pressure oil ring stuff that is probably now leaking. Which would be pretty smart of me to have not replaced if that was what I did. But now I'm not confident that what these are actually for. And I don't think I have a list of what they're from, so that's less useful. So, you know, note to self, I guess label your parts better. What vehicle was this for? And what kit was this? Okay, so down in there, that little yellow wire I unplugged is from the IPR, which is down that shiny bit even further down. You can kind of just see it down below the exhaust, the rust exhaust pipes. I don't think there's any way that I'm going to be able to manually get jumpers on there, so I just ordered a pigtail that should get here tomorrow. That'll be that same connector as that yellow guy right here. And then just have wires, and I'll splice on some wires and run those over so I can plug it into the battery. So I guess I'll do that tomorrow and go from there. I move the degas bottle a little bit because it's in the way. Yeah, there's lots to do here. If I have to go down, well, I guess when I have to go, because I'm probably going to have to pull the valve covers. So if it's driver's side, a lot less stuff. But if it's passenger's, or no, if it's the driver's side, this side, I'm going to take all the air cleaner off. I'm going to take the fickum off there, pull the degas bottle out of my way, some wiring. It's not crazy. There's just a bunch of like little stuff on top. This one I can actually get at the bolts. The passenger side is fun because there's not a lot of room between the airbox and that cover there, and so then it's quite difficult to get those nuts or those bolts out far enough to pull the valve cover up and over. It can be done. It's just very tight. I think it's kind of set up to pull the whole cab off / yeah, that's basically how these are set up, which is really nice when you have the luxury of doing that. But if you're just trying to do something quick and dirty, it's really a pain in the butt. So more to come on this. Hopefully I can get it sorted this weekend, because we are also down. The Mercedes seems to have killed its starter, or I killed its starter, or we killed its starter, I think is my hope and my guess. So that's coming tomorrow also, which hopefully isn't too terrible to replace. I have a lot of things to replace on all these. It's been a week. Yeah, so lots to do. Always something. And I think the fickum voltage on the bus is low too, so that's fun. So that's another couple $100 and a potential no start here coming up soon. So I should probably just buy one of those and have it here for when it does go. Always something, you know. Every once in a while I imagine what a life without constant car problems would be like. Sounds kind of boring, but also kind of nice in some ways. I may have got myself into these problems, but it'd still be interesting experiment. Then you also probably drive boring cars. Okay, well, Power Stroke's still in progress, but I got the part for the Mercedes. It's the starter, nice beefy starter guy in there. So I'm trying to pull this wheel off. I think I can get it from below and take that cover off. I think it's right back there. Kind of see it from above. It's like right there, right down there somewhere. So getting at that, see if I can get it out, and then get this thing back on the road, which hopefully that's what's wrong with it. If it's not, that would be unfortunate. But my tools far away from the shop, way over there. But this is where it died, and this is where we work. You know, those covers do a lot to cover up the underside of things, and they're all great and fine and dandy, but you're really getting in your way if you're trying to do stuff. Hey, look at that. That's interesting. This has the same steering behind like the Maverick does. That's interesting. With the steering column coming straight down into a pump here, and then it's all behind the front. Because on a lot of newer cars, it's up in front there, like on the trucks and stuff, it's up in front of the wheels. But this one, it's on the back side of the axle. Well, I guess it doesn't really have an axle because it's rear wheel drive, but it's kind of interesting. Fancy. Oh, this one's way beefier looking than the Maverick, which is interesting. The middle bit. The ends look kind of the same. Huh. Alright, well, there's the starter right there. Apparently the top bolt is really hard to get at, so we'll see how hard it is. But first, I suppose I should disconnect the battery. You know, safety first or what have you. It is less ideal to get to arc your leads and stuff when you're doing the starter. This is in the back seat, by the way. Interestingly enough. It is indeed pretty tight under there, but I did snake this up here above. Let's see if I can get any grip on it down below. You see where that's going, kind of down there. All right, looks like with this flexi head guy, I was able to go back behind the oil filter. That's the oil filter, and grab my, wow, I'm really having a hard time getting my light. But that's getting loose, and that was apparently the hard part of this. And that took me all of a couple minutes, so. All right, the second bolt is right there. And the flexi head also helped that get out because there's that nub here sticking out in the way, which kind of makes it awkward. And now, got a flexi head ratchet up there getting the wiring off of the starter solenoid, which is attached. This is a very good flexi head job, where the wrenches and the ratchets with the flexi heads really make it so you can get just around the corners a little bit. These are really handy. They're also super annoying when you don't need them and they're in the way, but for this job, coming in clutch, as they say. All right, top one out, wiring off, which wasn't very hard. It was just a little, you know, the finicky bits, but then I couldn't nail down what size the other bolts were and the little clippy. That's actually what took as long. It was sitting up, switching sizes, sitting back. I don't know why. It's a bit of a struggle, but got the top bolt out. Grade 8 strong boy. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they both are. I mean, this apparently, this has a lot of torque, this starter, so maybe it needs beefy bolts, or someone replaced it with big beefy bolts. Either way, strong. So now I just gotta fill this one out, and then see if I can fish this thing out that way, and then probably out this hole here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to take the intake off from above, but I'm hopeful I can sneak it out past here, so I don't need to do that yet, which I will need to take the intake off to rebuild the injector pump since that's still leaking, but those parts haven't, oh, actually, no, those parts might have come today. But regardless, we're down a vehicle and we need this to be driving, so I'm gonna accept a small fuel leak for now until I get the power stroke back up and running, and then fix this fuel. It's just a little leak. So it'll be this little flexi actually guy is really handy too for the removal, quicker removal. All right, got it out of there. Just barely snuck past the steering. There we go. Oh, and it's a Bosch one, which I think is original. Excuse me. And AutoZone claimed that this was a Bosch rebuild or something. It doesn't say that anywhere on it, but claimed to be a Bosch. Does it look the same? It looks bigger. That's much bigger. Concerning. I wonder if it'll fit. The ends look kind of the same. And the teeth look the same. Those don't look the same, do they? The inset looks pretty close. You line those up. Oh no, that's 6. I think that might stick in a bit farther. Well, maybe I'll see if it'll fit. Otherwise, I guess I have more waiting and ordering and things to do. Dang it. The AutoZone let me down, maybe. Or maybe not. Alright, after much finagling with the wiring up there, I got it in. The bolts bolted up. It seems to have seated well all the way, I think. Yeah. For some reason, this new
one, the little like cable that sends the signal from the ignition to start. There's a big wire from the battery, and then a little wire from the big wire from the battery, little wire from the starter relay, I guess, that when you turn the key and start the ignition, it sends power, it sends a signal, flips a switch, and then lets the juice from the big one go into the starter, go crank, crank, crank. If those are touching, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the switch, because then it's just jumping straight around the switch. But on this new one, the little guy is right next to the big guy, and the way that the wire sits, they were touching, so I had to bend this end bit around, and which wasn't working, and yada yada yada. Anyway, they're not touching. They're very close, but they're not touching now. So we'll go plug the battery in and see if we get sparks. And then if that no sparks, then try starting it. Okay, I didn't see any big fireworks when I put the battery back in, so we'll see if we have crankums. Juice. We even got gauges. Fancy. No! Well, that's not useful. That's what it was doing before. Now I'm making a beeping noise. Oh well, shoot. That's not useful at all.